For a deeper dive now, let's bring in former Department of Justice Attorney Michael Zeldin. Michael, thank you for being here.
My pleasure.
And Michael, have tonight's developments significantly escalated the situation for the president?
Politically, absolutely, because now we have this drip, drip, drip of additional documents coming with him having not been fully forthcoming. So that's a political problem. In legal terms, we don't know what's in these documents. And until we know that, and until we know what was done with these documents, we can't really answer the question of whether this is an additional element that a prosecutor would look at to determine whether this was inadvertent and non-criminal or intentional and criminal.
And we know more details coming from Tom Dempsey tonight. This was a 13-hour search looking at documents dating back all the way to when he was a senator. President Biden had said before, there is no there. He said that on Thursday. How difficult is it going to be to move on from this controversy given tonight's developments?
Well, in legal terms, if these documents were taken inadvertently, if they were not shared with anybody, if they were not altered in any way, and if, as we are learning, they're being returned cooperatively, it should in the end work out to the president being told you mishandled documents and be more careful, but not being charged politically, but not being charged criminally, I mean. But politically, it's still the problem that people are beginning to look at the Biden case and saying, well, isn't this just like the Trump case? And if Biden is treated one way, shouldn't Trump be treated the same way? And that's a bit of a problem, both for Biden politically and also for the prosecutors who have to look at these two cases that are really apples and oranges, but which can be seen in similar terms at a very macro level.
Yeah, it's certainly unprecedented and uncanny that we are dealing with these two situations unfolding with the former president and current president concurrently. Do these new documents found make it worse for the president from a legal perspective?
It depends on what's inside those documents. If these were highly classified documents that it can be established that he purposefully took, then he's got a problem. If these were not so highly classified, or they were classified a long time ago but no longer have any classification value, and he took them inadvertently and then returned them promptly, then it shouldn't be a legal problem. But that's what the special counsel, Robert Hur, has to answer for us. And right now it's a little bit too early to know that. We can only speculate. But it does seem as if, so far, it seems as if the taking of these documents was inadvertent. And that's an important characteristic of a case that a prosecutor has to determine criminal liability or no criminal liability.
At this point, do you think that more documents will be found?
Well, they say that there may be more searches. And if there are more searches, then the possibility is that there'll be more documents. Listen, the prosecutors here took 13 hours with a team of FBI agents, and they found some additional stuff that Biden's own lawyers, who are very experienced criminal defense lawyers, didn't themselves find. So we don't know what it is that what the FBI is calling classified or of interest to their case. Not all these cases may be, not all these documents may be classified, but just may be of interest to their classified case. So until we get a report from the special prosecutor somewhere down the line, what happened here, we really don't know the answer to that question.
In the handling of all of this, what should President Biden or his team have done differently, if anything?
Well, from a public relations standpoint, the maxim generally is get it out early and as fully as you can. And, you know, we saw in cases like Bill Clinton where he stonewalled us and then finally had to admit that he did, in fact, have an extramarital affair with Monica Lewinsky. That was very politically damaging. In this case, the problem here is the same problem that Clinton had, which is the lawyers are telling them, be quiet, let the prosecutors do their job. We don't need to go into the public domain about this stuff, and then we'll hope for the best in the end. And so there's this tension between what's in your short-term political interest and what's in your long-term legal interest. I, as a lawyer, always think that in the end, if you're found not to have committed a crime, it's way better off than in the short term trying to explain stuff that prosecutors are looking at and might be upset about. You're trying to get ahead of their investigation publicly.
Former Department of Justice Attorney Michael Zeldin, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your insight and time.
Thanks for having me.
We do Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.